doesn't love a good taco? I'm sure you do. I love a good taco. You know who else loves a good taco? Wall Street. And I realize this may be the only thing I have in common with people who work on Wall Street, but I think we can find common ground in this one instance. I love a taco and they love a taco as well. Although the taco that Wall Street traders seem to really like is a lot different than what I picture in my head when I hear the word taco. I will explain. There are a couple of articles that I'm going to share with you to explain this, just in case you don't know what the hell I'm talking about. This first one is from Market Watch by William Watts. Headline: The Trump Always Chickens Out Trade is the talk of Wall Street. Here's one way to play it. From the article, let's hear it for the taco trade. Wall Street loves a catchy acronym, and the taco trade, coined earlier this month by Financial Times columnist Robert Armstrong, has captured the mood as investors and analysts attempt to make sense of the roller coaster market auction that has followed President Donald Trump's sweeping tariff threats and subsequent walkbacks. It stands for Trump Always Chickens Out. The idea is that investors have profited by buying the dip that has followed Trump's tariff threats. Does Trump always chicken out on his tariff threats? So far, the answer is yes, said Tom Essay, founder of Sevens Report Research, in a Wednesday note. He observed how Trump exempted goods subject to the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement from additional tariffs on Mexico and Canada, significantly reducing their sting, postponed all, quote, reciprocal tariffs against U.S. trading partners just a week after his market-shaking Liberation Day announcement on April 2nd, slashed exorbitant China tariffs a few weeks after implementation, and over the weekend, delayed a 50% tariff on imports from the European Union until July 9th, after threatening Friday to put the levy in place on June 1st. Stocks soared as investors returned from a three-day holiday weekend on Tuesday, in part due to relief over the EU tariff delay. The S&P 500 is up 2% since Trump's March 4th announcement of tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. It's up nearly 10% after its post-Liberation Day declines, and has gained 11% since Trump's April 11th announcement of 145% tariffs on China. So the returns are somewhat conclusive. The taco trade has worked, and buying stocks on extreme tariff-related threats has worked, Essay wrote. So as that article mentioned, the term taco trade was originated in the Financial Times by columnist Robert Armstrong as a part of his Unhedged column, and the column where he coined the term comes from May 2nd, 2025, and he wrote in that column, quote, "How to make sense of stocks rallying, spreads tightening, and gold falling, while oil and yields are telling you that the growth outlook continues to get worse. Regular readers will not be surprised by Unhedged's view that the recent rally has a lot to do with markets realizing that the U.S. administration does not have a very high tolerance for market and economic pressure and will always be quick to back off when tariffs cause pain. This is the taco theory. Trump always chickens out." So this term, taco or taco trade, has apparently been floating around Wall Street for at least the last several weeks, if not the last couple of months, since Trump began this pattern of threatening to impose exorbitant tariffs on other countries and then deciding not to, or actually imposing the exorbitant tariffs and then lifting them not too long after, and Wall Street traders realizing that there's a pattern of, oh, Trump threatens a tariff or actually puts a tariff in place, the market goes in the toilet, and then not very long after that, Trump changes his mind, and the market goes up again. And they noticed, oh, this is kind of predictable. Maybe we can get in after the market tanks and just wait for him to chicken out like he always does. And then the market will come back and we'll make some money. It's actually kind of clever. I don't want to give Wall Street traders too much credit because generally, just as a group, I think they're the scum of the earth. But I give them credit for, they noticed something. They noticed something predictable about Trump's behavior, and they said, let's make some money off of Trump's incompetence and cowardice. Why not? It'd be nice if working people could make some money off of something to do with the Trump administration. But at least somebody's getting rich, right? And normally that makes Trump happy. Normally, when Trump finds out that rich people are getting richer as a result of something he's done, he's happy about that because that's the whole idea behind the entire Trump administration, right? Is to make the rich people even richer. But Trump doesn't like this taco thing, as you will see him explain himself with a little bit of word salad thrown in, because how could there not be? It's Trump. Would it be a taco salad? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, here's how Trump reacted when a reporter asked him about the taco trade theory at the White House earlier.
Wall Street analysts have coined a new term called the taco trade. They're saying Trump always chickens out on your tariff threats, and that's why markets are higher this week. What's your response to that?
I kick out?
Chicken out.
Oh, isn't that nice? Chicken out. I've never heard that. You mean because I reduced China from 145% that I set down to 100 and then down to another number? And I said you have to open up your whole country. And because I gave the European Union a 50% tax tariff, and they called up and they said, please, let's meet right now. Please, let's meet right now. And I said, okay, I'll give you till July 9. I actually asked them, I said, what's the date? Because they weren't willing to meet. And after I did what I did, they said, we'll meet anytime you want. And we have an end date of July 9th. You call that chickening out? Because we have $14 trillion now invested, committed to investing when Biden didn't have practically anything. This country was dying. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world. I went to Saudi Arabia. The king told me. He said, we have the hottest country in the world right now. 6 months ago, this country was stone cold dead. We had a dead country. We had a country people didn't think it was going to survive, and you ask a nasty question like that. It's called negotiation. You set a number. And if you go down, if I set a number at a ridiculous high number and I go down a little bit, they want me to hold that number, 145% tariff. Even I said, man, that really got up. You know how it got? Because of fentanyl and many other things, and you added it up. I said, where are we now? We're at 145%. I said, whoa, that's high. That's high. They were doing no business whatsoever, and they were having a lot of problems. We were very nice to China. I don't know if they're going to be nice to us, but we were very nice to China. And in many ways, I think we really helped China tremendously because, they were having great difficulty because we were basically going cold turkey with China. We were doing no business because of the tariff, because it was so high. But I knew that. But don't ever say what you said. That's a nasty question.
It continues to amuse and to a certain extent even amaze me what a thin-skinned fucking crybaby he is. That's how he reacts just to a reporter asking him a question, and not even like a confrontational, accusatory question. Just, have you heard about this taco trade thing and what it stands for and what's your reaction? And not only does he sort of rebel at the idea of there being a trade in, Wall Street circles where people are making money based on his predictable cowardice and incompetence, but he has to take it out on the reporter who asked the question, as if it was her idea, as if she's the one who came up with it. It's not just that he reacts badly and throws little tantrums when confronted with criticism, because that's not what that was. He throws little tantrums when he is confronted with the acknowledgement of the existence of criticism of him. Like, unless the reporter couches the question in some kind of servile framing where within the context of the question, the criticism of Trump that is being acknowledged is already being dismissed. Like if it was a Fox News or a Newsmax reporter or some fucking dipshit right-wing podcaster or social media influencer who had gotten a press pass to the White House press briefing or to whatever that press conference was, and they brought up the taco trade thing, but then they made sure within the asking of their question to let Trump know that they, the reporter, thought it was bullshit, and actually they thought that Trump, the president, was the most awesome person who had ever lived, and they were totally on his side. Then he would answer the question and not attack the reporter. But if you ask a question about some kind of criticism that exists directed at Trump, and you ask the question in just a normal, reasonable, rational, objective way, he takes that as an attack. Just the acknowledgement that the criticism exists. So he has to go off on his word salad, taco salad rant about how actually he's a brilliant negotiator and he's the master of the deal, and his constant stopping and starting and stopping and starting about tariffs and making threats and then backing off and making threats and then backing off and doing all of these things that certainly makes it look like he's just talking big and then caving at the first show of resistance or the first sign of market volatility, that all of that is just evidence of what a brilliant deal maker he is. Because according to him, all of these other countries are just throwing themselves at his feet and begging him, please, Mr. Trump, please make a deal. Please, Mr. Trump. Like, that's his version of reality. So he has to assert that and say, actually, I'm a genius. I'm not chickening out. I'm a genius. He does that, and then he also has a go at the reporter for even bringing it up. The best thing about this entire story to me is, there is a part of Trump that would love to come at this from the exact opposite direction and take as much credit for it as he possibly can. These Wall Street schmucks are making money off of the trades that they are making based on a predictable pattern that they have found in his application, such as it is, of tariffs. And Trump, would love to take credit for that and say, look at all the money they're making because of me. Look at all the money they're making because of my policies, because they're trading in accordance with my strategy and my brilliant negotiation. He would love to be able to take credit for that. He would love to be able to treat it as a compliment, but he can't, because taco stands for Trump always chickens out, and his thin skin will not withstand that blow. And it must really, really, really suck for him. And it sucks even more than it would ordinarily because of the acronym that they have chosen. Because if it was any other kind of taco, Trump would be all over it. Because as we all know, Trump loves tacos because he loves Hispanics.